There is a shot almost everyone alive has seen. A jeep tearing down a muddy road in the rain, headlights shaking, and in the side mirror, closing fast, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. 3 words stenciled on the glass. Objects are closer than they appear. That single scene from a movie made in 1993 did more to shape how the world pictures this animal than any fossil ever has. 30 years later, people still see T-Rex as a sprinter, a 6-ton predator that could run a moving vehicle down on an open stretch of road. Here is the problem. It probably could not run. Not slower than the Jeep, not a step behind the film version. Something much stranger than that. 2 separate teams of scientists working 15 years apart, using completely different methods, arrived at the same uncomfortable answer. If a fully grown Tyrannosaurus Rex had actually tried to run, the forces involved may have been enough to break its own legs. This is not something somebody guessed on a forum. It is published, peer-reviewed biomechanics, built from physical models of exactly how much muscle a 2-legged animal that size needs to move fast, and exactly what happens to its skeleton when it tries anyway. And once you understand why, the picture does not just slow down a little, it gets replaced by something stranger, an apex predator that may have spent its entire life at a walk. Start with the number that kept getting repeated. For decades, the going figure for a top-speed T-Rex was around 45 miles per hour. That number turns up in old books, in documentaries, in the confident voice of narrators standing in front of a mounted skeleton. Some researchers argued for a slightly more modest 25, but the fast, athletic, terrifying sprinter was the default. It felt right. It matched the teeth. The trouble is that nobody had actually run the physics all the way through. The early estimates leaned heavily on the shape of the leg bones. T-Rex has long lower limb segments, and in a lot of living animals, long lower legs go with running ability. So the reasoning went the obvious direction. Long shins, built for speed, therefore fast. Then, in 2002, a study published in the journal Nature took that assumption apart. The researchers, Hutchinson and Mariano Garcia, did something the earlier work had skipped. Instead of reading speed off the shape of the bones, they asked a blunt mechanical question. How much leg muscle would this animal actually need to run fast? Not, how did the legs look? How much raw muscle does the math require? They built a computer model to calculate it, using the same principles that govern how any land animal moves. And the answer they got was brutal for the movie version. To sprint the way people imagined, a 6-ton T-Rex would have needed an impossible amount of muscle in its legs. Not a lot, not an athletic amount, an amount that does not fit on the animal. The number that came out of that work is genuinely hard to picture. To hit around 45 miles per hour, a T-Rex would have needed roughly 3 tons of muscle in its legs alone. On a 6-ton animal, that is about half its entire body weight packed into 2 limbs. There is nowhere to put it. The skeleton we have could not have carried a body built like that. So Hutchinson and Garcia landed on a very different range. They concluded T-Rex probably could not run quickly, and might not have been able to run at all in the true sense. Their possible range topped out far below the old figure, somewhere in the region of 10 to 25 miles per hour, with the real answer likely toward the lower end. To see why size does this, it helps to look at animals alive right now. A house cat can sprint and turn on nothing. Scale that same body plan up to the size of a rhino, and it stops working. Big land animals do not move like small ones. As bodies get heavier, the loads on bone and muscle climb faster than the strength to handle them. And past a certain size, real running simply drops off the menu. Elephants do not gallop the way a horse does. They cannot. The physics that lets a small animal sprint turns into a liability when the animal weighs several tons. That is the company T-Rex was keeping, not a scaled-up cheetah. Something closer, in mechanical terms, to an elephant. A body so large that the way it held its legs mattered more than how long they were. The best reconstructions have it moving with relatively straight, columnar legs, weight stacked over the joints, the way the biggest land animals today carry themselves. Efficient for holding up enormous mass, terrible for sprinting. If you're finding this interesting, take a second to subscribe. I dig into one of these every week. For a while, the 2002 study sat as one strong argument against the sprinting T-Rex. Compelling, but not the final word. What it needed was a second, independent approach, one that came at the same question from a completely different direction, and could either break the conclusion or confirm it. That arrived in 2017 from a team led by William Sellers at the University of Manchester, published in the journal PeerJ. Sellers and his colleagues did not just model the muscle. They combined two techniques at once. One simulated the whole body in motion, the way the limbs would swing and load through a stride. The other analyzed the stress on the skeleton itself, the actual forces traveling through the bone as the animal moved. Muscle and skeleton checked together in the same model. They built it on one of the best specimens available, a Tyrannosaurus catalogued as BHI 3033, better known by its nickname Stan. One of the most complete T-Rex skeletons ever found, discovered in South Dakota in 1987. The team worked from a three-dimensional laser scan of the real bones, with the animal's mass estimated at around 7 tons. Then they turned the model up toward a run and watched what happened to the skeleton. It could not take it. As the simulated animal tried to move into a true running gait, the loads traveling through its leg bones climbed to levels the bones could not safely handle. In plain terms, the model said that if this animal tried to run, the forces would push its own skeleton past the breaking point. The long limb segments that everyone had read as proof of speed turned out to do the opposite. They mechanically limited T-Rex to walking, and the team put a ceiling on it. The fastest the model could push the animal before the loads became dangerous came out to about 7.7 meters per second. That is just over 17 miles per hour, not 45. 17 on a good day, right at the edge of what its legs could survive. Sit with that number against a human being for a second. A jogging person moves at roughly 5 to 6 miles per hour. A trained sprinter, flat out, gets into the low 20s. Usain Bolt at his fastest hits about 23, which means the fastest T-Rex in this model, pushing its skeleton to the limit, tops out somewhere between a hard human jog and an ordinary athlete's run. You would not outrun it. But the gap is nothing like the movie. It is not swallowing a jeep. On an open road, a fit person is not obviously losing that race. And here is the part that reaches beyond one animal. Sellers pointed out that this is not a quirk of Tyrannosaurus. It is a consequence of being a very large animal on 2 legs. The same limits should apply to the other giant bipedal predators built on the same basic plan. Giganotosaurus, Mapusaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, the whole class of enormous 2-legged hunters that pop culture imagines thundering across the landscape at speed. The physics does not care about the name. Get big enough, on 2 legs, and running stops being an option for all of them. So, if T-Rex could not chase, the obvious question is what its hunting actually looked like. Because a predator that walks is a different animal from the one in your head. The honest answer is that this part is still being worked out, and the researchers are careful about it. A walking speed in the range of 7 to 10 miles per hour does not make T-Rex harmless. Its prey were not sprinters either. The big plant eaters it lived alongside, the horned, armored, and duck-billed giants, were also enormous, also slow, also bound by the same rules of size. A walking predator hunting walking prey is a completely viable way to make a living. It just is not a chase. It is something slower and heavier and, in its own way, more unsettling. Less pursuit, more inevitability. What it was not was the thing on the movie poster. And that is the strange gap worth sitting with. Tyrannosaurus rex is one of the most recognizable animals that has ever existed. It has starred in blockbuster films. It headlines museum halls and television specials every year. Almost everyone on Earth can picture it moving. And the single most famous thing it does in the popular imagination, run a vehicle down at speed, is the one thing the best current evidence says it probably could not do. The confidence came from a movie. The 45 miles per hour number came from reading bone shape without running the mechanics. And when two independent teams finally did run the mechanics, muscle mass one way, skeletal stress the other, they landed in the same place. This animal walked, pushed hard, it managed a fast walk. Pushed past that, its own body became the thing most likely to bring it down. None of this is fully settled, and the people doing the work will tell you so first. There is no living Tyrannosaurus rex to clock. Every one of these numbers is a model, built on assumptions that future work could revise. The exact top speed is still argued over, but the direction is not really in doubt anymore. The sprinting Tyrannosaurus, the one closing on the Jeep in the mirror, is not what the fossils describe. It is what a film needed. The real animal was slower, heavier, and stranger than the one we were sold. It just took running the numbers to see it.